Yeah, so like I've kind of been like noticing like just relatively recently, and I mean just over the past course of the past few years, but more and more so recently, that just the amount of like synchronous moments, I guess, in my life have sort of like, and not just like sort of like fancy little coincidences like, oh, this is fun, but just like sort of unignorable, like, how the fuck did they do that one sort of moments. And it's funny, actually. Like, every time one of them happens, I keep thinking in my head of that George Carlin thing where he's like, how did they do that? Like, that's what I keep thinking of. But yeah, I've just noticed that they've been just happening. And even over the past month, like, this past month has been just like a non-stop barrage of sort of like synchronous moments. And I'm kind of wondering, like, is there something else going on here? Like, I kind of had the thought, like, I wonder if Google is secretly using, like, quantum computers, and this isn't just some sort of, like, weird emergent property of that, you know? So I always felt like there was going to be some kind of weirdness that came out of quantum computers that we didn't, like, expect. And I kind of wonder, like, is that what's going on here? Like, is this some sort of weird quantum computer emergent thing? Of course, you know, I could just be slowly losing my mind. That's a distinct possibility. So, like, you know, of course people notice connections that aren't there. Like, you know, it's human nature to try to connect dots that aren't there. But I just, like, you know, just a thought, like, I wonder if Google has been secretly using quantum computers and all of these sort of weird fucking, like, fucking what moments. That I don't think it's just me. I think everybody is sort of going through something weird like this. Not just with the coronavirus, but just, like, it just personally, my life in the past year has been so fucking bizarre. And I kind of wonder if there isn't some tomfoolery going on here. Some quantum tomfoolery that Google is not telling us about yet. Yeah, but I had some journal topics. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I wrote this one. This was just, I guess, kind of out of... Wow, that is loud. Hold on, let me turn it down. Am I using... Yeah, I'm using the right microphone. I wrote this one down. Like, sometimes I feel like people think... like, people that do diets, and maybe some people actually do diets in this way, but they, like, do diets not as so much like a thing for their health, but just like as a thing for their mental health. Like, they're doing it just to have the ritual or like the consistency of like doing something every single day. But like, and you think like, oh well, maybe that's the reason why, you know, the diet makes them feel better. It's just the consistency of, you know, doing something once a day. But I can personally tell you that is so not the reason why I do any kind of this diet stuff. Like, the only reason that I do diet has nothing to do with any kind of like superstitious like thing like that. I just want to do the most biologically appropriate thing, you know. And I'm not tied to any one diet idea. Like, you show me tomorrow, and not with fucking like scientific evidence that means nothing to anybody. I want to subjectively feel really good for a sustained period. And if you can find me a diet that makes me feel good for a sustained period, and it shows in my body, like my body gets better or my skin gets better or something, that's the fucking one I want. Like, I just want to feel good. Like, I don't care about like the consistency or the ritual aspect. I'm just interested in feeling good. And it's like, you know, I'm not trying to be consistent. I'm just trying to like feel good. And it's funny. I wrote this next thought down, like consistency. Like, there's like ASMR Like sometimes like the sounds are ASMR, but there's ideas that are sort of like ASMR ideas. And like the idea of like doing something consistently just for the sake of doing it, like that has always struck me as sort of like one of those ASMR ideas. It's so hard. It's like it's another sort of one of those ideas is that like I'm trying to say this in a way that isn't like highly offensive, but like everybody's beautiful. When that just is like, but you get the idea. Like there's just some things, I don't know what it is exactly about the idea, but it's just some ideas just have this ASMR sort of feeling about them. And the thing about ASMR, for me personally, another ASMR idea is like the idea of like doing schoolwork, like in how you do schoolwork, but it's like you think you're accomplishing something, but you're actually not accomplishing anything. Like it's just a fucking lie, you know? But like sometimes you can feel good doing schoolwork, and it's like, oh yeah, well I'm getting my work done. You know, that's sort of like an ASMR idea. I hope somebody understands what I'm talking about here. Like that's the only I don't know how else to explain that. But the thing with the ASMR, and this is so weird. Like this might only actually apply to me, but I've always been annoyed. Like something about the sound of ASMR just is like annoys the crap out of me, and I could never figure out why. But anytime I've ever heard it, like anytime I've ever heard anybody like whispering like this, sort of like this, like that sort of thing, like it's just like it's stoked this like fire of rage in me that I cannot explain why it does. And I looked into it actually, and it seems that I might have a form of synesthesia called misophonia, where sounds sort of get translated into emotions, and just like anytime I've ever had sort of a ASMR sound, I've just like it's like, oh god, get it away from me. And it's so weird because ideas can do that to me too. Like the idea of schoolwork, I feel the same way. Like, oh god, like get it away from me. Like it's so like, it just makes me it just makes me feel like that, you know. And just those other sort of ASMR, and a lot of ideas that you just wouldn't expect them to be, quote, ASMR ideas, they just strike me in that same sort of like way, you know? So it's like, I don't even know why I was talking about that point. So I was saying like, I think the idea of consistency is what I'm saying, like that ASMR idea. Like I regard those ideas that annoy me as just like things to not take seriously. So I guess maybe that's what I'm saying. I don't know. There's a point in there somewhere. Yeah. So next thing I wrote here was that I think we're kind of like, I think we should appreciate more that in this moment right now, like we're probably going through maybe the most epic transformation in human history, like on a bigger scale than like the Renaissance or like the Enlightenment. So I think there should be like, and it's accelerating now. So I think we should probably take more time to just like appreciate that. Yeah. So what am I up to now? Am I up to 10 minutes? 8 minutes? I don't know if I have time for another idea. Fuck it. Yeah. So I was thinking. Yeah. Here's the next one I wrote down. Like sometimes like you assume that like I have the sentence written down here. Like you would say to somebody like, that guy doesn't understand how markets work. Like if they say something that seems to contradict the idea of like how a market works. And this is just one example I'm using. I'm not talking about markets specifically. It's just an example of the idea here. But like I think it's a mistake to underestimate someone's intelligence in that way, you know? Like it's kind of insulting too, you know? Like I think if somebody says something that disagrees with like, you know, oh, that guy doesn't understand how markets work. Like I don't think you should assume that the guy is like just dumb. I think you should assume that maybe he sees a different thing. Like, I think it's condescending to just assume that there are like lesser people that like don't understand like concepts, you know. Like that's just I think that's just a bad idea. But yeah, okay, all right, 10 minutes, we're done. Goodbye.